So, welcome to another Chelsea chat. Hi, and yesterday at Stamford Bridge it was Chelsea 0, Arsenal 1. I didn't do this yesterday deliberately because I, like most of you, probably all of you, was so fed up by what I watched yesterday. So fed up. I was just totally negative. And so I went away and I watched the defeat at Brighton, the 4-1 thrashing really. Then I watched the Arsenal game again, and then I watched a few highlights of Brighton. And I found myself in a place to do this review. Not gonna slag anyone off as being a cabbage or whatever, because in the heat of the moment after you've just watched a performance like that, it's easy to lash out and have a go at Potter. Absolutely easy, because those players didn't look like they were playing for him yesterday. 3 players in that side, Chalobah, Silva and Dave, who looked like they were giving it their all. They were just overrun. Mason Mount ran around like a mad thing and achieved absolutely nothing. But everyone else, it was pretty damn poor. So I did a stupid thing for Glenn. I went on the internet and I saw, Potter out, Potter this, Potter that. 8 weeks he's been there, 8 weeks. Oh, this job's too big for him. He can't handle the egos. He can't handle big players. Get him out now. All this. And I'm not calling them cabbages. Entitled to their opinions. And after yesterday, you can understand, if you've not thought it all through, having that reaction. Maybe even if you thought it all through, because as I say, we've all got different opinions. Mine isn't right. It's just an opinion, like everyone else out there. But how do you manage, like Brozier? Remember when everyone said play Brozier, and he played and he missed that easy chance, and then the next morning he was the worst 21-year-old in world football. People wanted him out, people wanted him sold. That's unfortunately where we are at with mentality these days. Lack of patience is probably a bit of a mental illness, because everything in our society is we want it yesterday. No patience, very little loyalty, very little support. And I saw that earlier in the year with Brozier. I mean, I think Brozier should be getting a run out now, but you need to have some patience with him, and perhaps he's not getting a run out because Potter knows a lot of them out there ain't going to have the patience with him. And that can affect a young player, having people on his back wanting him sacked the morning after he's missed a sitter on his league debut. But perhaps that's why he's not getting a run. But yeah, Potter, to those people that are saying he can't manage that dressing room, Tommy Tuchel lost the dressing room. Good manager, bad manager, experienced manager, dealt with big egos, Neymar, you name them, and they're probably in that PSG side. He couldn't manage big egos apparently. He couldn't manage big players because he lost the dressing room. Frank Lampard lost the dressing room. Couldn't handle big players, lack of experience. Conte lost the dressing room. Players down to tools. We finished, was it 10th? Antonio Conte can't manage big players, can't manage big egos. Jose Mourinho, he can't manage big egos, can't manage big players. The problem is in that dressing room, in them players' heads. The only way Potter's going to learn to manage big egos and big players is if he has the chance. And I've no doubt that some of them have already down tools. They thought, this bloke, he's not managed big players, big egos. Do what we want. I've no doubt No doubt after watching that yesterday. So, do we just sack him like a lot of those big experts on, big supportive experts on Twitter and Facebook want to do? Sack him in the morning. Get someone in that can manage. Pochettino. He's so good at managing egos and big players that he's never won anything. It was a League Cup, wasn't it? Or was that before him? I don't know. Pochettino in. Pochettino's out of work. Now, I went away and I watched the Brighton game again. And do you know what they do? They don't just have two formations when they've got the ball and when they lose the ball. What they do in different phases of the game, and go away and watch it again, in different phases of that game, they totally change system. They can be going forward and they can be going backward. But depending on what's happening in a different part of the pitch, they actually change their system mid-game. And not just if they're going forward or if they're going back, but if they're going forward down the right, if they're going forward down the left, if they're going forward down the middle, if they're under attack, left, right, middle. To get that sort of control into a team, that sort of discipline, that sort of thought process into a team, to be able to do that, a second nature, because that's what they did against Chelsea. That's what they did when they thumped United. That's what they did playing against Liverpool. Go and watch it. To get that sort of coaching into them, that's not going to happen in 8 weeks. That is not going to happen in 8 weeks. It took him 3 years at Brighton. Do you remember some Brighton fans wanted him sacked? They probably wanted Pochettino in. Pochettino! He ain't got a job. He can manage big players. So, where are we? We are in shit creek without a paddle at the moment, having watched that yesterday. We've got loads of injuries. Not Potter's fault. We've lost Reece and Chile since he's been here on Fofana. Although Chalobah's playing well, I think Fofana's going to do well to get back in the team. But it gives you another option at centre half. He can play in the middle there. Because at the moment, our best player is a 30-year-old free transfer, Thiago Silva. He's our best player at the minute. Kante. Now, I've loved Kante. You know, it wasn't even a question to me, should he get another contract. But at the moment, I'm thinking no. You can have the best player in the world. Let's sign Messi and Neymar and Mbappe and have Kante in the middle and Donnarumma in goal and De Ligt at the back. But if they're always injured, they never play. What's the point? And that's what I've come to with Kante. But my point being, anyway, they've got all those injuries. On top of the fact that some of our players are woefully out of form. Yesterday, Havertz, waste of time. Absolute waste of time. I don't know what that lad did yesterday, apart from one shocking shot come cross, when if he'd looked, he had a better option. Sterling is looking a pale shadow of himself. He just runs into players. Now, Sterling must think, what a culture shock, because at Manchester City, players move around him. He has an option. He can do the quick give and goes. At Chelsea, he gives and then we'll go, what should we do? Oh, we'll play it back. He must think, what have I come to? Aubameyang yesterday, 8 touches. Now, I'll be fair to Aubameyang. He was isolated. Arsenal done a good job isolating him. But when Brogy come on, different ball game. And when you see something's not working like that, it's down to Potter to make a change. Aubameyang's been pretty awful since he got here. Pretty awful. I know he's got a couple of goals, but all-round performances, not great. So that's where we are. We either say we're on a 2 or 3 year project. These are good players, these are international players, they should be able to take things on board quicker than the Brighton players, you'd think. So we've got a 2 or 3 year project, or we sack Potter and we get Pochettino in. Get Pochettino, because he ain't got a job. He's managed big players. I think Potter's got a hell of a job on his hands. He comes out in the press afterwards and says, oh, they gave their all. If he really believes that, if he really believes that those 11 players gave their all, he should be sacked in the morning. He should be sacked now. But I don't think he does. I just think he's the sort of bloke that don't throw the players under the bus, and in the dressing room, he's probably giving them pelters, and they deserve every pelt he gives them. Someone, at some time or other, has got to sort that dressing room out, has got to get that mentality right, because I think there's too many Billy Big Bollocks in there who they don't even turn up for the big games, do they now? Kai Havertz, you know, it's all right playing against Zagreb in a game that don't mean nothing, but you got to turn up for the big games. You know, I always give players a chance. He was a young bloke in a new country, in a new league, in a new team. During COVID, people wanted him sacked the second day he was here because he put a header over the bar. But I thought, no. And he is a skillful player, but he don't do it. He's not bringing it up. Not bringing it. Oh, no, so let's get Pulisic back in. Oh, is it the same Pulisic that we dropped a few weeks ago because he wasn't doing it? Oh, that's him. That's the guy. But because there's a World Cup coming up and he's going to get the American side anyway, isn't he? But last couple of times he's come on, he's looked a bit more lively. But you know when he plays from the start what you're going to get. I don't know what to say. Brozier would be in that side straight away. Gallagher would be in that side straight away. Cucurella, 61 million. There's a reason City wouldn't go over 40. Because they valued him at 40. And to be honest, from what I've seen so far, they've overvalued him. That's City, not us. Yesterday, the basics. He was getting the basics wrong. You know, I've seen him play for Brighton. I've seen him play well under the same manager. So what's wrong? Potter must see it firsthand, and I think personally, just my opinion, got to be given time to sort this lot out once and for all. It's all right, people saying, "Oh, buy so and so, buy so and so." Spent 270 million before the season started, and what have we got? I know 2 of them are injured, Koulibaly and Fofana. What have we got? Sweet FA. It's attitude. It's attitude. That lot yesterday were embarrassed by Arsenal. Embarrassed. If Chelsea had 10 injuries, they should put a better performance up than that. Absolutely woeful. That's all I'm going to say. But I do think I think Potter will get it right. I really do. I wasn't for him joining the club. You know I wasn't. I wasn't for Tommy Tuchel getting the sack. I still think it was wrong for Tommy Tuchel to get the sack, but a lot of people wanted him sacked at the time, and a lot of people should be careful what they wish for. I think we are now in a stage where Potter plays differently to Tuchel, but it will take 2 to 3 seasons to get his philosophy in those players' heads, because it's very intricate, and to change your formation that many times during a game in different areas is immense. Oh, can you imagine what it must be like counteracting that, because you don't know what's happening next? Possible that Potter's an actual genius, but we'll probably never find out, because we'll probably get Pochettino. He ain't got a job. I think we need to stick with the manager. I think we need to support the manager. Support that team when they're on the pitch, but when they're not, if they need pelters, give them pelters. But give him time to sort it out. Anyway, I'm going to go through the team. Mendy yesterday. Couple of decent saves. 1 total balls up, the ball at his feet again. He gets a 5.5. Dave gets a 7. Loads of effort. to be fair, done quite a good job with quite a tricky customer in Martinelli. Hasn't got the legs anymore. We know that. People find it perfectly acceptable to abuse him for not having the legs, and I think it's just disrespectful tosh. He's not the player that he was, but still one of our best defenders yesterday. Chalobah gets a 7. A couple of times he got caught out, but he was just under so much pressure. I thought he'd done a good job. And Silva 7.5. If we could have had a man of the match yesterday, it was Silva. Cucurella gets a 2. Absolutely shocking performance. Absolutely shocking. He should look in the mirror and have a proper word with himself. Even if he doesn't know the team, if he hasn't trained with them before, basics. Midfield, we had Jorginho, we had Ruben Loftus-Cheek, and we had Mason Mount, didn't we? Jorginho got isolated, not really his fault, not really his type of game. He gets a 4. Ruben Loftus-Cheek gets a 3. Totally woeful yesterday, and Mason Mount gets a 5. I don't know what you'd say about that performance from Mason Mount. Lots of effort, doing sweet FA. In front of him we have Havertz, who gets a 2, and I'm being kind to him. With a 2. German international, one of the best players in the world, a 2. I mean, look at the Arsenal goal. They could have won by 4 or 5 easy, but the actual goal that they got, Kai Havertz swings it with his leg. German international, £200,000 a week, swings it with his leg like he's auditioning for the Moulin Rouge. Nowhere near the ball. Jorginho totally misses it. And Cucurella was more intent on giving a penalty away on Xhaka than even looking at the ball. That's basics, that's mindset. You can have the best manager in the world and you can't legislate for imbeciles like that. Sterling gets a 3 and Aubameyang gets a 3.5 because even though he only had 8 touches during the whole game, a lot of it was because he was well defended, he was isolated, and he hasn't got either the brain power or the inclination to outthink a defender. He's a finisher and that's it. Brozier came on, we looked a lot better. How that lad's not getting a run in the side. If you know what, even at 21, I'd be knocking on that manager's door saying, "What is wrong with you? What is wrong with you? Why am I not getting a run?" And the manager should give him a run, and he should take no notice of all the cabbages. If he has a couple of iffy games, stick with him, and after 6 or 7 games, he can make a proper assessment of where Armando Brozier is. And Potter yesterday gets a 4. Didn't do anything about that woeful performance until it was way too late. Obviously didn't get that side motivated before they went out, which is his job. And if he's trying to get his Brighton methods across to this team, he's going to need a hammer and chisel, I think. They're either too thick or they don't want it. There's probably some players worried about getting injured with this World Cup coming up, but no excuse. Let me know what you think. That's why I do these, and yeah, let me know what you think, what you think of the points that I've made, and please subscribe to the channel. It's not always this downbeat. Yeah, and give the video a like. If you're really depressed, give the video a like. Speak to you after Manchester City. Oh, I fear the worst. Okay, thanks for watching. Up to Chelsea.